afternoon, good evening. Thank you all for coming. This meeting will be held in accordance with Executive Order N2920, issued by California Governor Gavin Newsom on March 17, 2020, the Ralph M. Brown Act, California Government Code Section 54950, and the Federal Americans with Disability Act. This meeting will be open to the public. Seating capacity will be limited to the first 30 people on a first-come, first-served basis. Members of the public may participate and comment via the application Zoom. Remote public comment is also available for the Planning Commission meeting by emailing ann.montgomery@ci.series.ca.us by 5 p.m. the date of the meeting. Include the agenda item number or public comment period in the subject line of the email. The clerk may read written comments into the record if specifically requested to do so at the beginning of your email. Your written comment will be distributed to the Planning Commission and kept on file as part of the official record of the Planning Commission meeting. Having said that, again, good evening. I will call to order the Planning Commission meeting of the City of Ceres. It is Monday, May 17th, 2020. I got all that backwards, but that's all right. Let's see, let's all rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, please note that Commissioner Johnson is excused this evening, so we have Commissioner Del Nero,
Present.
Commissioner Catchell,
Sure.
and Chairperson Smith.
Thank you. Here. Are there any conflicts of interest to declare? Seeing none, we'll move on to citizen communications to the Commission on matters not on the agenda. While the Planning Commission welcomes and encourages participation in Planning Commission meetings, adopted rules allow no more than 5 minutes for expression of non-agenda items. Matters under the jurisdiction of the Planning Commission and not on the posted agenda may be addressed by the general public. However, California law prohibits the Planning Commission from taking action on any matter which is not on the posted agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the Planning Commission. Citizens are entitled to address the Planning Commission on any agenda item subject to the 5-minute provision. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak on a matter not on the agenda? All right, seeing none. Public comments will now be accepted through Zoom. For those participating through the web, please raise your hand to request to speak using the hand icon located at the bottom right of your screen. If you are participating by phone, please press *9 on your phone. Names will be called in the order the requests are received.
No, I have not received any.
All right, thank you. Seeing none, we'll then move on to the consent calendar. Will the clerk please read the consent calendar?
Yes, item 1, clerk's report of posting. The agenda for the regular meeting of the Planning Commission of May 17, 2021 was posted on May 13, 2021. Item 2A, approval of minutes from the meeting of May 3rd, 2021, and all commissioners were present.
Thank you. Do I have a motion regarding the consent calendar?
I'll make a motion with the consent calendar.
Thank you. I have a motion. Commissioner Cattrall seconded that motion. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Commissioner Del Nero,
Aye.
Commissioner Catchell,
Aye.
and Chairperson Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0 with 1 absent.
Thank you. No items were removed from the consent calendar, so we will now move on to public hearings. Item 3, vesting tentative subdivision map entitlement to subdivide 19.3 acres into 107 residential lots at 3340 East Whitmore Avenue. Grant Alvarez and Steve Alvarez are the applicants. Do we have a staff report?
Thank you very much, Chair. Tom, could you put up page 53?
Microphone on.
Yeah. Sorry. Closer. Yeah, page 53 of the staff report, Tom. Thank you. Thank you very much. Just to give the commission some background on this. Starting now in April of 2014, the applicant and city staff had a pre-development meeting to discuss the possibility of subdividing this 19.3 acre site into 105 residential lots. Again, the sites this is at 3340 East Whitmore Avenue. And the subject site at that time in 2014 was governed under Stanislaus County. At that pre-development meeting, staff had conveyed to the applicant that the project was going to require the approval of an annexation of the property to the city's jurisdiction, a specific master plan involving 94 acres of land area that would provide the specific standards for development of the properties, roadways, sewer, and water lines intended for the specific plan area. Investing tentative map to subdivide the property here, the 19.3 acre site, and an environmental impact report would need to be prepared, which would analyze all the potential impacts associated with the intended development of the specific plan area. Since that time, the applicant has been working with staff, taking steps for the past several years to complete what's known as the Whitmore Ranch specific plan, which was adopted in October of 2018, and the annexation of the 94 acres of land within that specific plan area was adopted in April 2019. In November of 2020, the applicant then proceeded to submit their vesting tentative subdivision map for the subdividing of their property here to 107 residential lots. And so what you have here, as you see on the screen, it's a 107 lot subdivision comprising of 77 low density residential lots, 30 medium density residential lots, and a 1.8 acre park basin. The range of the parcel sizes for the subdivision will vary as the subdivision involves both low and medium density lots. The average size of the low density parcels is about 6,800 square feet, and for the medium density, about 24 to 29 square feet. The subdivision was routed to the city's various departments, and there were no objections raised regarding the applicant's proposal. As each parcel will be developed with a single-family home, it should be noted that prior to any development taking place on these lots, the applicant will still need to obtain approval of the Planned Community Development Plan entitlement, in which the home designs and their placement on these lots would be subject to review and approval by the Planning Commission. The Planned Community Development Plan is subject to a public hearing before the Planning Commission, and as such, the same level of notice that was done for this proposed subdivision map will be required for that hearing as well. Subdivision will include several new streets and alleys, with the primary access into the site being provided at the Whitmore Avenue Lennar Drive intersection located at the northwest corner of the subdivision. And where applicable, the streets and alleys will be stubbed to the west and east toward the adjoining residential properties to provide ingress and egress for future residential development of those properties. Subdivision right-of-way areas will be appropriately developed, and the improvements for the subdivision right-of-ways will toward minimizing anticipated traffic impacts resulting from the future residential development of the entire Whitmore Ranch specific plan area, which were again analyzed by the traffic study prepared for the specific plan. As the project site is located in the Whitmore Ranch specific plan area, the subdivision proposal will be the first one of the plan area, and it is a good example of an infill development located within the city limits that will meet the intent of the document. The applicant will be providing several new streets and project-related improvements, which will be the start of the foundation necessary to serve the remaining properties within the specific plan area. Staff believes the project maintains consistency with both the Whitmore Ranch specific plan, the city's general plan, and the zoning ordinance, and therefore the project can be supported with the conditions of approval for the project. Concludes staff's presentation.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions of staff? Mr. Delano?
Yeah, I do. In some of the improvements, do we know now if there's going to be any street lights in the area on Whitmore?
Believe Whitmore Avenue has streetlights already on it with the city project that was completed last year. We widened Whitmore, put in a 10-foot sidewalk, and we installed street lighting on Whitmore as well.
Commissioner Del Nero, I think what you're suggesting is there going to be a new traffic signal?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, there will be a traffic signal, future traffic signal at the intersection of Booth Road. which is a little bit east of where this site is located.
Okay, thank you. And the other thing I see that's kind of odd, I've been doing this for a few years. First time I've ever seen an alley
Thank you.
in our new construction. Is there any reason why this is different, or just mainly just a question? It's probably not.
So the specific plan showed some linear park. So right in the middle, represented as Lot B is a linear park. Adjacent to the park on both sides, north and south of it, was medium density residential designation, which allowed for smaller lots. The purpose of the alley is to, because of the narrow lot sizes, to have the parking in the back. So the people that live along that frontage will access their property with their vehicles in the rear and not the front. So there won't be any garages along the front of that. There'll just be parking spaces along the street. So that's the purpose for the alley in this circumstance.
Okay. All right, thank you so much.
I want to follow up on the alley question. So in terms of maintenance of the alley, is that a city alley?
It'll be dedicated to the city. It'll be our responsibility.
I know in some places alleys are being given back to the property owners in the area. I just was curious about that. All right, Commissioner Cottrell, do you have any questions?
No, I have the same concern about the alleys. Like, it's been a long time since I've seen an alley.
Yes, definitely.
I don't,
Me too. I have one question, and that is about the storm drain retention basin, which I'm sure surprises you. So it notes that at the park storm drain retention basin, and there's going to be 6-foot wide landscape planters along each side of the basin. So I didn't see anything that depicted that, and maybe that will come in later items that come before us. But I was just curious about is that the entire length of it?
I believe that's what this specific plan shows, is kind of the entire length of the basin on both sides, and then it dips down to where the water would be retained.
And this will be grass through the whole basin, so it can be used for,
Correct.
okay, for the community. That's good. All right.
Let me just add that there, between the sidewalk and the curb and gutter, there will be a parkway, the landscape area that you're mentioning, completely around the basin
On the outside of it.
on the
And
outside.
then the inside will be all grass.
Correct.
All right, good, thanks. All right, is there any other questions of staff before I open it up? Okay, this time I will open the public hearing. If there's anyone in the audience who would like to speak on this matter, or if the applicant or representative, good evening, Mr. Romano.
Good evening, Chairperson Smith, members of the Planning Commission. It's a great pleasure to be here. This is actually my second public hearing in over a year. And it's been frustrating to do them on Zoom and not to be able to see faces, or as much of our faces as we can see as we make this final transition. Am I not on, Tom? Thank you. I'm here on behalf of the Alvarez's, Stephen Grant. They're in the audience with me. We were here before this commission and the city council about 3 years ago with this project. We also have North Star Engineering here if you have any specific engineering type questions to assist you in answering those, if your city engineer can't answer them. As you heard in the staff report, this project started 7 years ago in April. Today it's May. And so it was been a long process. The Alvarez family owned this 20-acre property and was required to prepare a specific plan, an EIR, to get it annexed. This tentative map is really almost exactly what is in the specific plan. It was lotted during the specific plan. It had the alleys and the small lots on the parkway, and actually showed the city what you are going to get within reason. But when we went and laid it out, we found it was actually the most efficient layout. And so really it looks almost identical to what's in the specific plan. The lot sizes are the same. The homes fronting on the park are the same. We've really done no violence whatsoever to the plan. We've been able to honor it, maintain its integrity, and for that we're happy. Other than that, we're in agreement with all the conditions of approval. We really look forward to moving this project forward, getting it to the marketplace. Having a map with conditions really let us know the cost to develop this project And so getting it to this point is very helpful. We do understand prior to homes being built that lotting plans and elevations will come back to the Planning Commission. You will get a chance to look at those, but this is just one more step in that process. So with that said, again, we're thankful to be here at near the end of this process and would ask for your approval.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Romano.
Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions, Mr. Romano? Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to speak on this matter? Seeing none, is there anyone on Zoom that would like to speak on this matter?
I don't see any hands raised at this time. If you're on Zoom attending and you'd like to speak, can you please raise your hand so we can acknowledge you? It doesn't appear that there's anyone that would like to speak.
Thank you. Clerk, did you receive any emails regarding this matter?
No, I did not.
Thank you. All right, seeing none, then I will close the public hearing, bring it back to the commission for discussion and/or a motion.
Well, I guess Mr. Romano said it pretty much is what we saw years ago. Didn't notice the alleys there. And those, that's been answered and comfortable. So I'll go ahead and make a motion.
No, fine.
Written here. Make determination project exempt from environmental review pursuant to CEQA guidelines 15182 for residential projects specific plan. As proposed vesting tentative subdivision map request conforms to the Whitmore Ranch specific plan, thereby meeting the exemption requirements of the above noted CEQA guidelines section. 2, approval of 20-10 BPSM subject to the findings and conditions contained in the attached draft resolution PC 21-10.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Commissioner Catchell,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Nero,
Aye.
and Chairperson Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0 with one absent.
Thank you. Thank you all. It's good to see you in person, and we look forward to seeing you again, hopefully in the near future. Thank you. All right, with that, we'll move on to, I will adjourn the Planning Commission meeting and open the Ceres Downtown Revitalization Area Board meeting. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Please note that Board Member Johnson is excused this evening, so we have Board Member Del Nero,
Aye.
Board Member
Here,
Catchell,
Sorry.
okay, and Chairperson Smith.
Here. Are there any conflicts of interest to declare? Seeing none, we'll move on to new business. Item 4, the Ceres Downtown Revitalization Area Board Annual Report. I believe we have a staff report from Mr. Hallam, who it appears may be on Zoom.
Yep, I am. Thank you, Chairperson Smith. Am I coming
Go ahead.
loud? Can you hear me?
I can, sorry.
Oh, perfect. Okay, no problem. Tom, if you could bring up, it's either page 5 of item 4, or I think it's page 77 out of the full packet. '77, 2 more pages. While Tom's doing that, there it is, the annual report for the Ceres Downtown Revitalization Area. One up, Tom, 77. Perfect. Ceres Downtown Revitalization Area was created in 1989 under the California Streets and Highway Code as a parking and business improvement district. That action permits the city to levy assessments on downtown businesses, which is used to fund activities that directly benefit the downtown revitalization area. The types of activities we conduct annually include general maintenance within the district, electricity payment for downtown streetlights, holiday tree lighting, and landscape maintenance, which is picked up with the new improvements installed a couple years ago. And then the municipal code provides that the city manager shall have sole discretion to expend the CDRA revenues for those activities, projects, and programs that are included in the annual report. The city council is the body that actually approves the annual report for the district each year. And following that action, they establish the amount of the assessment that is leaned against all the businesses in the district and are paid quarterly through their business license tax payments. Before you on the screen is the Ceres Downtown Revitalization Area Board Fiscal Year 2021-22 Annual Report. It's pretty straightforward. We just acknowledge its formation. We describe the boundaries of the district, which are tied to an exhibit in the staff report. We have to identify the improvements and activities that are proposed for this next fiscal year. And again, as I mentioned, it's more of the same that we've done in the past. Maintenance of tree grates, landscaping and sidewalks, rotation of decorative promotional banners. There's 22 small banners, 7 large banners. Payment of electricity for streetlights. And by the way, we've been saving about 70% on our electricity costs with the installation of the LED lights on the 4th Street Improvement District. Really saved us some money. Special holiday tree lighting and the lighting over the Welcome to Ceres sign on 4th and the freeway. And then we've, again, included funding for matching grants for design assistance as a component to the City Downtown Facade Improvement Program, the investigation of wayside finding sign program, and we still have funds that are set aside for development of a new downtown incentive program, which the details are to be determined by the board, which is the Planning Commission, the businesses and the City Council. The estimate of the cost of providing improvements for this fiscal year is $35,855. The revenues, because it's a special enterprise fund, are carried over annually from prior years' excess to maintain a fund balance. We will be dipping into the fund if all items were funded and allocated and expended this year. And the method and base of levying the assessment is described in Exhibit C. It has not changed since 1989, is not proposed for any change this year. And then it just closes that the city acknowledges the revitalization area. Tom, if you'd like to go to the prior exhibit, page 4. Oh, I'm sorry, that's the resolution. Go on down, Tom. Down 3 pages, please. Two more. Exhibit A, B, C, and I want D. There's a, yeah, there's a
There you
little
go.
description. Okay, this is just so you see what is in the budget. We presented this to the City Council at their budget workshop last week. It includes a projected revenue of $12,751, which by the way, as a side note, that's down about $2,500 from what we had seen last year. And as you recall, a couple of years ago, some of the businesses were in error of their payments in arrears. And the board commission asked us to take a look at it. We discovered that about half of the businesses had some level of delinquent payment. And so our Muni Services, our finance consultant, billed them and payments were restored and came back up. Well, this last year, and I'm presuming it's because of some of the business closures due to COVID-19, but our revenue is going to be closer to about 11,000 in the 2021 fiscal year. And next year, we're projecting a minor increase to $12,751. But out of the $35,855 budget, we have electricity and gas, advertising, and that's the notices for the annual report that we send on the advertising the council meetings. The contract services includes $3,255 for banner rotation and $15,000 for the contract landscape services we receive from Grover Landscaping. just a minor amount for office supplies that may come up. And then the 3 placeholders that are budgeted from reserves, the wayfinding signs, downtown incentive program, and facade renovation. And if you just look below, the bottom line is at the very bottom bold line, projected unencumbered fund balance as of 6/31/22 at the end of next fiscal year. If the full budget was expended, we'd be tapping into that budget reserve by about $27,000, and our projected unencumbered fund balance to close out next year end would be $57,088. What we have in your packet is a resolution for the CDRA. We would ask that the Planning Commission adopt the resolution number 2021-01, recommending that the City Council approve the annual report and set a public hearing to consider a levy of the proposed assessments for fiscal year 2021-22. I'm certainly available for any questions that you may have. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Steve. Does anyone have any questions of Steve at this time? Petro? Okay, you know what, first of all, let me just acknowledge I was unable to attend via Zoom the council budget hearing workshops last Thursday. So if this was already covered, then I apologize for the redundancy, but you said that you reviewed this with the council last Thursday. Was there any discussion of the use of the American Rescue Plan funding to support this revitalization area?
We did not include that, no.
But you did go over, and so maybe I can at another point get with you and find out what that information is. But is this an eligible activity?
Yes, it is. So because we were preparing the budget kind of ahead of some of the guidelines from the ARP, we only utilized for the things that we knew we could take out budget. And there was about $1.4 million worth of expenses, some related to business license, a loss in business license tax, et cetera. But we didn't go further. We certainly didn't address the CDRAB budget, nor did we address all of the amount that we'll be getting through the ARP. So there'll be future discussions with the City Council. A consideration could be made to bolster the CDRAB revenues as well.
Okay. Okay. I appreciate that. I don't have any other questions. And is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on this matter? Seeing that there's no one in the physical audience, is there anyone on Zoom that would like to speak on this item?
No, I see no hands at this time.
Thank you. And did you receive any emails regarding this item?
No, I did not.
Okay. Then it is not, as I can recall, a public hearing. I lost my agenda here. I don't know where I'm at. Here we go. This is not a public hearing, so I don't have to close it, but I'll bring it back to the board for discussion and or a motion, please. Anyone have any comments? My only comment is this. I've been a member of the Ceres Downtown Revitalization Area Board as part of the Planning Commission for the full 14 years that I've been on the Planning Commission. And I've always felt like it had the potential for being more visible in the downtown in terms of what it does and how it supports business. And I think we're at a time where the opportunity is clear, especially with the American Rescue funding and other sorts of business incentives through other small business development grants and programs that are available at this time. So I look forward as we continue to working on that and seeing how we can support our business that made it and maybe help prop up those that didn't or are failing and encourage new business to come down. I think we have a lot of opportunities in the future. So those are my comments. And at this time, I'll be happy to entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we adopt the Ceres Downtown Revitalization Area Board 2020-21 budget.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Board Member Del Nero,
Aye.
Board Member Catchell, and Chairperson Smith.
Aye.
Motion
Thank you.
passes 3-0 with one absent.
Thank you. All right, seeing that we will now close the board and reconvene as the Planning Commission. Moving on to new business, item 5, Capital Improvement Program Fiscal Year 21-22, Project Priority List. Mr. Padilla.
Thank you, Chair Smith. Good evening, Commissioners. So the Capital Improvement Program is a capital planning and management program to assist in identifying projects and infrastructure improvements needed to address the current needs, as well as prepare the city for future growth and services. The intent of this effort is to ensure that the appropriate projects are planned, funded, and developed in a timely way to shape Ceres into a comfortable, livable community as it continues to grow. So I'll go ahead and discuss the project really briefly. And afterwards, you can ask me questions if you're curious or want to know a little bit more about each of the projects. Thank you, Tom, for putting the list on the screen there. So the first project is a fire training facility, site improvements. So this facility is morphed into a regional training facility. We recently paved the site, and this phase 2 will allow the fire department to put more structures, obviously more training facilities at the facility. Second project listed is a community development block grant, federally funded project. It's to construct sidewalks in the Morrill Village area, which is generally between Whitmore Avenue and Garrison, and Moffett on the west and Mitchell Road on the east. We have another federally funded project to construct a bike path on the TID Canal between between Eastgate Boulevard and Faith Home. And largest of our federally funded projects will reconstruct Whitmore Avenue between Crow's Landing and Morgan. And that project will be a collaboration. We're leading the project, but we'll work with Stanislaus County and the city of Modesto to get that project constructed. And we will be using mostly Measure L funding for project number 5 on our list, the pavement preservation project. And that is to resurface various streets in the city, mostly local residential roadways. We also have a project to make safety improvements at a few of the schools in town: Walter White, Main Hensley, Carol Fowler, flashing beacons, and miscellaneous street improvements. Project number 7 on our list is to make Morgan Road improvements, reconstruct some pavement, which is south of Service Road, because we're going to be installing a traffic signal on Service and Morgan, hopefully in the next 6 to 9 months. That's why we need to make these improvements south of there on Morgan Road, like I mentioned, to reconstruct some pavement and also to install some storm drain facilities in that area. Projects 8 and 9 are wastewater projects. Project 8 is to rehab and replace facilities at our treatment plant. And project 9 is to make improvements on pipelines and lift stations throughout the city. We have well 16 wellhead treatment to treat TCP, trichloropropane. Well 16 is just north of Hatch Road and west of Angie in the alley, east of a mobile home park in that area. Well 22 wellhead treatment, that is a well north of Whitmore in the Rockefeller area, west of the old Series Drive-In. Right, it's back now, right? So Series Drive-In also.
It's the new
The new,
series.
there you
Drive.
go.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What does that mean, wellhead treatment?
So wellhead treatment means treatment facilities that are there at the current well site. So you've probably seen some at near Carroll Fowler and Costa Fields and some at Eastgate Park. So they're carbon steel vessels to treat trichloropropane. They're filled with carbon and they clean or treat groundwater.
What will this project do?
It will bring our water up to state.
You're constructing one. Okay, it's
It's-
not, I was trying to see, is this, okay, I get it, sorry.
So the well is there. The water doesn't meet state drinking water standards, so we're installing
Okay,
vessels to clean the water
got it.
up to state standards requirements as far as specifically trichloropropane, which is a new standard that the state has set a few years ago, which is why we're just now getting around to doing this, because before it wasn't a state requirement, now it is.
So it's not potable water right now, and it will become potable.
Correct.
And so this is kind of a side question. I'm sorry, I don't mean to get off track,
No
but
problem.
the potable water thing is an issue I'm interested in, especially as we find ourselves facing a drought. For parks, do we use potable or non-potable to water the parks?
We, most of the parks use non-potable water. They have their own separate groundwater wells
Okay,
for solely irrigation purposes.
perfect, thank you.
So well 35, that's another wellhead treatment project. That one is not treating for TCP. That one's treating for a different contaminant in the water. Project number 13, that's just general paint and maintenance, Laker Reservoir Pump Station. And number 14, annual water system rehab, that's to install new water mains or water services where pipelines are leaking or pipelines have failed. And the last project, so you're aware that the city of Ceres and Turlock have a JPA, the Stanislaus Regional Water Agency. We're currently building a design, but we currently have a design build project that's constructing a regional water treatment facility. It treats water from the Tuolumne River in a treatment plant that we're currently building, and it'll convey water to the cities of Turlock and Ceres. Where that project ends, that's where project 15 will be located. The water will be piped into that tank, and then it will be pumped into the city of Ceres water system.
Right.
So with that, I'll open it up for any questions planning commissioners may have.
Do you have any questions? All right, I have one. I know that's a surprise. So these are the projects you plan on working on in the next fiscal year. And these are the amounts of the projects and the location of where the funding is located. So that's the source of my question. Is the funding there, or is this funding that you're anticipating? So for example, the Measure L money, is that already in the bank or in the account? Or are you anticipating that coming throughout the fiscal year?
Most of the funding is available already. Measure L funding comes to us, I believe, monthly, so we get installments. So we won't start the project until the funding is available, but in most circumstances, the funding is already in place.
So there's $9.9 million worth of projects that'll be funded, the 9.9 anyway, out of the water fund, and that money currently exists.
Yes,
Okay. And then you're carrying over 5 million for the tank construction.
yep, from the current CIP fiscal year to the next.
And then throughout the year, as projects may arise that aren't on this list, you just bring it through the approval process and have the council review and make a recommendation or approve or.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, well, I appreciate that. See if I can think of another question. Just kidding. All right, we'll bring it back to the commission for any discussion. It looks like we need to, um, let's see, we need to find this consistent by adopting Resolution PC 21-11. Do I have a motion from the commission?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I have a second.
I have a motion and a second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes, Commissioner Catchall,
Aye.
Commissioner Del Nero,
Aye.
and Chairperson Smith.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0 with one absent.
Thank you. Moving on, there are no public meetings, no unfinished business, no matters initiated by the Planning Commission and staff, so we'll move to reports. Is there anyone on the commission that has anything to report? I have nothing to report. Oh, City Attorney, I think Nubia is on Zoom. Nubia, do you have anything to report?
I am here, Chair. Thank you so much. No, nothing to report. It's nice to see you all, and hopefully I'll see you all in person soon.
It's nice to hear you, and we hope to see you soon. City staff, anything to report, Mr. Westbrook?
I have nothing this evening.
All right. Seeing none, then we will adjourn the meeting. to
Hold
the
on,
next-
hold on a second, Chair. Daniel may have something.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Daniel.
Yeah, since we're on the topic of CIPs, why don't I just mention some of the projects that we have currently in construction phase? So you probably noticed the roundabout at El Camino has started construction. We have another project to replace 35 air release valve from our treatment plant to the Turlock treatment plant. That's going to be starting in a couple weeks. We also have a project to line a couple sewer mains with a cured in place pipe plastic liner. One here in downtown between 4th and 5th Street in the alley from Magnolia to El Camino, and then at the River Oaks Golf Course as well. We have another project that's in construction, waiting for some equipment to arrive to replace the hatch and some concrete on the around that hatch in Service Road between Morgan Road and Crow's Landing out in that area. And we currently have 2 projects that are out to bid to overlay Blaker Road between Hackett and Whitmore, and then Central between the roundabout and Service Road. And we have an ITS project to install traffic signal interconnect and fiber to interconnect many different traffic signals in the city of Ceres. So some of those projects are small, but we have a lot of activity going on. And then the large project that we talked about, the River Bluff Reservoir and Pump Station, that will be awarded to Garney Pacific on Monday evening city council meeting. And that's the largest locally funded city project in many years, $10 million. So
Fantastic.
keeps us busy over in the engineering department.
A little bit. A little busy. Great. Right. Fantastic. Thanks for sharing all that information with us. All right, James and Ann, do you have anything?
Nothing tonight.
I was too eager to close before I let the rest of the staff. But it is now that time, so I will adjourn the meeting to the next regularly scheduled Planning Commission meeting, which will be held on Monday, June the 7th. Have a nice night.